Alright, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another episode of MTG Arena. Today we are gonna play with this BANT standard deck. Okay, this BANT standard deck is recently I built it out after modifying from some list. So this is sort of like my own customization. For the land wise, I do not have the full set of Overgrown Farmland and the Pathway Hengegate, so that's like I DIY and add some basics. That's the small things to take note of. Okay, anyway, as you'll see in the game later on, this deck is pretty fun and cool, control-y type, but our opponents will be really like they can't do anything about it if when we place teleportation circle in best of one and they can't remove this. We could keep generating tokens from Esika, Chariot. This is usually our opponents will scoop and stuff. So okay, first of all, Planeswalker introduction for BANT. Teferi is always a very control-y kind of card, and from what I see, people haven't really found a very solid shell to fit in Teferi, but I think we got that now in this BANT deck. I think Teferi really belongs really well in this BANT deck. Okay, I mean, with cards like the Chariot artifact, we could actually like untap it to crew it later to defend when we need to, when we have a very wide board, right? Sometimes you swing in and this remains tapped. You could untap it with Teferi, and we also gain life, which is very important, the 2 life, and we could untap lands and creatures. So we have creatures that generate mana, so basically it could help us grant 2 more extra mana and hasten us to be able to cast Storm the Festival as fast as like on turn 4 or 3 even, maybe. I think so, if my calculation is not wrong. So anyway, it helps us to really boost and ramp up very quickly. So this is like a pseudo ramp when there's green involved. So I think this is actually a really good shell for Teferi, who slows the sunset to be in. And then of course the -2 could always fetch us another card to replace Teferi, the card itself. So this is definitely a good card. So far I haven't really managed to get the emblem off, but our deck don't really rely on that emblem anyway, so don't really be too obsessed in getting the emblem, and keep passing. You could sometimes just -2 to find threats like Storm the Festival, which may be even better. And then we have Wrenn and Seven. So as usual, this is the a very must play card. I think it's sort of in the meta right now. -3 combo wells with the Chariot. You could generate a lot of the tree folk token, which is huge as the game goes on. So this side you could see are the ramps, actually the turn 2 ramps, very important. Innkeeper, as soon as it comes into play, creates a mana treasure token. Tangled Florahedron. These cards actually help us to have a very solid mana base. In our opening hands, we could play this as a creature in the late game or mana in the early game. Rootcoil Creeper is a very good ramp. Since it adds 1 mana of any colors, it actually is a good fixer for this kind of 3 color deck. And then most importantly, with the green, blue and tap, you could return target card with flashback from exile back to hand, such as Storm the Festival. So this card is not only good early game, but it also has recurring value towards the late game, which is awesome. So yeah, 4 copies. Glasspool Mimic, Elite Spellbinder, the 3-drop here, pseudo 3-drop. Elite Spellbinder, what I gotta say is surprisingly it works really well with teleportation circle. It could keep ripping off and taxing our opponent's hand, and that is brutal when this combo goes off. And then of course there's Mind Flayer, a cheaper version of Agent of Treachery, a downsized version. So with this and Glasspool Mimic, you could steal our opponent's creature, which is definitely a very strong effect to have. And then also at the top end, since we play Storm the Festival, we could put mana value 5 permanent down, right? So I decided to include this powerful dragon in the colors that we have. 2 Icing Death and 2 Iymrith. Desert Doom. I really love this creature a lot. This card is very hard to remove. when it's untapped, right? So with Teferi, when you swings in and you draw the card, and then usually you want this back untapped, so you could use Teferi to actually untap that card back to have the ward 4. So opponent usually can't remove Iymrith off the board. Really tough to remove unless they have blood on the snow, but so far I never seen any. And even for blood on the snow, we could tax them with Elite Spellbinder, and by the time they could cast it, I think it's over. So yeah. And then basically that's all. This is a very strong deck so far when I test it. A lot of room for improvement, especially in the sideboard. You see, when there's so much card we could play to deal against, like for example Blood in the Snow. Radiant could make them all the spell costs even more expensive, and all the snow lands will come in tap. So so far I have not tried best of 3 because recording them will be too long and maybe uninteresting for my kind of editing. So anyway, I'll just show the the sideboard briefly here. A very good card to have. Into the Roy, basically, late game or early game, you could bounce the Wrenn 3 folk token opponent's one, or you could draw the card and bounce. So yeah, Tangle Trap, obviously for flying threats, Gold Span Dragon. Since we have green, we should include them. Skyclave, very good removal. You could swap this out for like Brutal Cathar depending on the matchup, or even more Spellbinder if you are interested in taxing. Whatever you prefer. And then Portable Hole, for the aggro, but sadly aggro is not really that trending nowadays since the departure of Embercleave, right? So yeah, that's basically it for the deck introduction. Yeah, and let us move into the gameplay. Let's go.
若非那次无意之中仓皇的撞见， 更像命中注定结束成缘，吸住了岁月的变迁，从此跨越不同世界，梦里的圆月是灵气，是他有年。如果说这封印早已等待几百年，是否我该把这思绪为你重复几万遍？眷恋连绵着隔空相牵，冰川也溶解，把孤独早已点终结。漫漫时空让繁星带你到身边，只盼熟悉话语让记忆重现，在一眼之间相遇不负成全，沧海有桑田蔓延着与你的永远。若你听见夜色勾勒思念的缱绻，便是今生那句情字成绝，灵秀没遇见，再也不忘守候的修炼，温柔在眼前，从深阙走出今天。漫漫时空让繁星带你到身边，只盼熟悉话语让记忆重现，在一眼之间相遇不负成全，沧海有桑田蔓延着与你的永远。如果离别是能拥伴余生的起点，我也不怕生命随你流浪，跨越更遥远的光年，让昨天在怀抱里都随风搁浅，凝望的瞬间心无边。
心中的花枯萎，时光它却不回。但愿洗去浮华，淡去一身尘灰。再与你一壶清酒，话一世沉醉。不愿人是非，怎料事与愿违。心中的花枯萎，时光它去不回。回忆辗转来回，痛不过这心扉。愿只愿余生无悔，随花香远飞。一壶清酒，一身尘灰。一年来回，不余生不悔谁。一场春秋，生生灭灭，浮华是非。 待花开，只是在醉一回。心中的花枯萎，时光它去不回，回忆辗转来回，痛不过这心扉。愿只愿余生无悔，随花香远飞。一壶清酒，一身尘灰。无悔，一场春秋，生生灭灭，浮华是非。待花开，只是在醉一回。愿这生生的时光不再枯萎，待花开，只是在醉。生生的时光不再枯萎，再回首前尝新酒余味。一壶清酒，一身尘灰，一年来回，度余生无悔。一场春秋，生生灭灭，浮华是非。待花开，只是在醉一回。一壶清酒，一身尘灰，一年来回，度余生无悔。一场回忆，生生灭灭，寥寥心扉。再回首，前尝新酒余味。一场回忆，生生灭灭，寥寥心扉。再回首，前尝新酒余味。
树下卷丝纶，随风纷纷。谁裁木却一缕魂，多别尊。风影无心惊扰了对棋人，万里何时怕春雨成盆。欲知冷风封不住，千沙重昏。舟上摇波波不停，独影重温。错人听见过马人醉几分，一抹生香吹梦成真。风筝路，无论梨花 Follow the enemy's scent. They're close.
此线生寄入一段情，背信遥远与之无影。再为你举出这把同谋情，我又谈到如此用心，为我解开交换枷锁的那个你。哼着陌生乡音，走在宫闱里。我为君王抚琴时，转头看到你，弦声中深藏珠玉的情绪。月光长长长长到故里，送回多少离人唏嘘。沿着你喂给我那烧热粥，这年月能悄悄地过去。灯会摇曳，满都城听着雨，夜风散开几圈涟漪。你在门外听我练这支曲，我为你背一件蓑衣。琴声传到寻常百姓的家里，有人欢笑，有人在哭泣。情至深处，我也落下了泪一滴，随弦断付了思乡的心绪。一万只错蝴蝶从窗框上飞起，飞过我指尖和眉宇，呼吸声只因你渐渐宁静，吹了灯，让我拥抱着你。通知君王释放我，孤身归故地。我背着琴步步往回宫闱里。你哼起我们熟知的那般绝句，它夹杂着你低沉的周期。路途长长长长至故里，是人走不完的诗句，把悲欢谱作曲为你弹起，才感伤何为身不由己。
Alright, that is all for the deck today, and hope you enjoy watching, and do try this deck out if you like. I'll paste the deck list as usual in the description, together with the sideboard if you're interested in best of 3. So do try it out if you have the cards to play them. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye bye.